What's happening, everybody? I want to welcome you into a special edition of Chatterbox Clicker. Here from studio at the Caskey household, aka Colton's room. Appreciate everybody. Since I did not have a Minnesota Vikings helmet, I went next best thing. I stayed in the AFC North, or the NFC North, sorry, and we've got the Detroit Lions helmet. So. Little AFC North, NFC North battle coming up. Just pretend like that's purple with a Viking on it and it says skull. So want to get into the Minnesota Vikings offense. Obviously, the head coach, Kevin O'Connell, calls the plays for their offense. Josh Dobbs has been playing since Kirk Cousins got hurt, but in this last game, Nick Mullins, who has played at San Francisco and Cleveland as well, he's been kind of around for a few different teams, took over for Minnesota. So from everything that's come out in the past couple of days, Nick Mullins will be starting on Saturday against the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. Now, they have a very solid passing game. So they're 246 a game. That's number 8 in the league. To compare, the Bengals passing game is number 16 with 229 yards. So Minnesota's going 246, so just a few more. Run game hasn't been very good. It's 27th, so they got 95.2 yards a game. The Bengals, in reference to that, with the Vikings being number 27, the Bengals are number 31 at 84.7 yards a game. The biggest difference is turnover margin. Right now, the Vikings have a -5 turnover margin. That ranks 23rd. The Bengals are +10. That's second. So getting into some of these things that are going on here. I don't have a whole lot of Nick Mullins film, but forgive me for that. But we're going to start here. So run game. Now, this is Josh Dobbs running it. So they will run the quarterback. And if you look at this, I mean, this is they're making this thing look like it's just regular old read zone where they do this. But the back's going to come back and wheel back around and block for him. So they'll run everybody like this, and then they end up running him over here. I don't see this as being something they can't do with the other guy too. But those are in their package right here. I mean, if they're going to run Dobbs the way they are, I don't see them not, and don't be surprised if Dobbs is in the game. Don't be surprised if there's this package in the game when they start to play. Now, if you look at the next thing here, so Ty Chandler, okay, he's number 32. He's the second leading rusher behind Alexander Mattison. And this guy's got 203 yards and a touchdown. This one actually, I believe, got called back because of this block right here. So really, he would have had 2 touchdowns. But a lot of this stuff, man, I mean, they got good players, and there's a lot of players that are. You can see they like to pull linemen. You'll see that coming up, but. This big guy, 67, from LSU, second-year player, Ed Ingram. He's very athletic. I know. So they got some guys, but they've got some good players on offense, and they just gotta, be ready. I think the biggest thing that's going to be stopping for the Bengals is stopping the run game, is putting a stop to that. Let the quarterbacks have to beat you. So I think that's going to be a big emphasis here going forward. This is Alexander Mattison, number 2. Alexander Mattison has 660 on the year, 3.9 average. Not great, but I mean, it's not bad. He has 0 rushing TDs. Unless I read that totally wrong, he has 0 rushing TDs. He does have 3 receiving TDs, but he has 0 rushing TDs on the year. But Alexander Mattison is a good player. They do live in this wide zone world, okay? He came out of the Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell came out of the Sean McVay tree, which comes out of the Shanahan tree, which is wide zone. So, be ready to see a lot of that. Now, when I say that, they also have the normal inside zone. So I showed you the one just a minute ago of Josh Dobbs pulling it and with Ty Chandler blocking for him. But if you watch here, just normal inside zone. But I mean, he's a very decisive runner. Holds it in there, hits it, gets his feet up through contact, and so Madison's a good runner. So now looking at some of the pass game stuff. Now this is Jordan Addison, number 3. He's gonna be coming across the field here. I believe he's right here, and he's one of those guys. They like to do this kind of stuff with him, and he's got enough speed. He's got 713 yards. He's got 7 TDs on the season. Addison does. So got to be aware of him. I wouldn't say I think the Bengals have played some better receivers over time, but the skill guys on the Vikings are pretty good when you put them all together. And these are the guys I'm going to take a look at. Brandon Powell. Brandon Powell's number 4. Brandon Powell was with us in Detroit, and Brandon Powell is a kickoff returner. He ended up going to the Rams. I believe he was on the Super Bowl championship team, but he's like a punt kickoff return kind of guy that plays slot. But when he gets put in the slot, man, you can't allow him to, get just like throw screens to him. But I wanted to show you this. It's a heck of a catch by this kid, and so he's got this in him, and he can do this kind of stuff. These little slot fades. So he's right here. So he's running that slot fade, but he's one of those guys they like to throw screens to. He's really shifty in space. He's got 269 yards, a TD, but he's a gadget guy too. So he's a guy that they'll probably be throwing or handing off jet sweeps to, reverses, things like that. So that's the guy, Brandon Powell, that does those things. Josh Oliver, this is number 84. He's right here. He's the second tight end behind TJ Hawkinson. But you can see here they're going to run just vertical routes. They could have easily thrown it here to Hawkinson too, but they do have 2 fairly good tight ends. It's kind of like the Bengals are starting to turn into. You've got some guys they can get the ball to that are bigger, but they do have him. Now looking at TJ Hawkinson. TJ Hawkinson we drafted him when I was in Detroit. TJ Hawkinson is a very, very good tight end. I mean, top level tight end. He has 839 yards on the year. He's got 5 TDs. He has 298 yards after the catch. Of those 839, 298 are after the catch. So that's pretty good for a guy his size. And you can see right here, you just get the ball in his hands. He's not afraid to go across the middle, get the ball to him. Good throw there, getting it in there to Hawk. But you can see right here, he's a large, tall man, and he's rangy. So kind of got to know where he's at. Now, the one thing I wanted to point out about Hawkinson, and it's one of those things that just it is part of him. He was probably one of the worst fallers I've ever seen. I believe he got a concussion because he fell down backwards too hard and hit his head. And when I say fell down, like it was during a game in Ford Field, fell down. But you can see here, like he's not the most graceful faller. So, but he will get right back up. You'll see he's right here. And I know this is a random thing to be talking about, but like I believe here's Mullins right here, by the way. Pretty good pass. Look, got tipped right there. This ball got tipped. But look, see, it's just kind of like he just kind of falls hard. I think, Tua worked on how he fell, things like that. I think he probably needs to do the same. Now looking at some sacks. Okay. So they gave up some stuff. And again, this is one of those things where I'm not 100% sure what the line, and I'm pretty sure they're just full slide. Now, I think the center's supposed to block him, but you can see, but again, his eyes aren't anywhere near going here. So there's some times that things get a little screwy, and you can notice there's Ed Ingram's out. That's not him. So they've got a new guy in here. So they've had a little bit of fluctuation in their line. So those are some things, kind of keep an eye on. But right here, I mean, I could see, think of Jermaine Pratt running through the line against the Colts, things like that. So now they have edge issues, and which is kind of ironic because when I start talking about their defense, you'll notice that their defense blitzes off the edge a whole lot. But right here, seeing this from the end zone, you'll end up having 2 guys over here and there's 2 guys over here. It's all you got. You got 1, 2, but they end up just both of them running past. I mean, literally both of those guys get to the quarterback. So they do have edge issues with the line, the backs a little bit. So, some of these Mike Hilton nickel blitzes, because think about this. How many times have you seen Mike Hilton blitz off the edge right here? So those are the kind of things the Bengals are probably going to try to take advantage of. Now watch Dobbs hit he boom. I mean, you talk about hitting the ground now. So, apparently I guess he was okay. Maybe that's why he came out originally. I don't know. I didn't watch the game on TV. Now this is something they're going to do. So I told you Kevin O'Connell came from the Shanahan wide zone. So they're going to wide zone play action. And this is the same thing you saw against the Colts with the Bengals when Sample came back and Browning ended up getting hit. But they're going to live off of this. And again, edge issues. But they're going to live off this this outside zone play action right here. Move the pocket a little bit, get him over here, offset the pocket, but try to bring this guy back to block. Again, just got to be ready for that. Those kind of plays by the Bengals. They got to be able to, handle the wide zone play action. So with that being said, when you get into the drop back, pick games have been hard on them. So again, here's Ed Ingram right here. I told you I know him from LSU, my time down here, but he's trying to pass him off. Here comes this TE. And again, a lot of these things, and again, he falls down, gets held, whatever you want to call it. And, they just keep playing. And a lot of times it's not the first guy. Again, that's a rough way to get thrown down the turf right there, man. And then last one I got here is this was almost a fumble, but again, it's a pick game. And if you watch the pick game, and this looks familiar to some of the stuff you see Logan Wilson do. Here, and this guy steps up and then comes all the way around. You'll see Hubbard doing this kind of stuff. But again, they almost get to hit that ball. That ball's got hit right there. It's almost got it out. But again, I think, the stuff the Bengals do up front can really take advantage of some of the stuff that maybe the Vikings aren't necessarily as strong at. So that's a good look at just a basic look at their offense. They're going to be a wide zone team for the most part in the run game. They will try to get in space and try to move guys around a little bit. I've seen them throw a few screens, not as much as like you'd think that they would with some newer quarterbacks. Mullins is going to be a little different than Dobbs. He may not run as much, but again, Mullins played a few times back in the day with San Francisco and Cleveland. I know he has played, but it's about the same as Dobbs has. So we'll see what happens. And appreciate you joining me here today for the preview of the Vikings offense. We will have the preview of the Vikings defense coming soon. And we'll see you next time. Please join us every Tuesday, like Chatterbox Sports, at Coach Kyle Caskey, Chatterbox Sports, YouTube. That's where you can find us. And we will see you there next Tuesday for the recap of the Vikings and the Bengals game.